Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Carol Bryant, and this is BlogPaws Google Plus Hangout, aka BlogPaws Cares and Shares. I'm the PR and Marketing Manager for BlogPaws, and we are here with one of the most valuable Hangouts you could probably listen to this year. I desperately need it, and you know secretly that you do too. Time management, getting organized, and making sure that you're on track with your blogging and actually life goals. I so desperately need this, ladies, and so let me please welcome our guests today, who are Robbi Hess and Bonnie Dewkett. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start out with having each of you introduce yourselves, tell me where you're from, your background, and we'll head out from there. So how about we'll start with you, Bonnie, since I'm seeing you on camera.
Okay. I am originally from Rhode Island. I currently live in Connecticut. I own and operate the Joyful Organizer as well as Social Ocean Media. And I assist people with getting organized, time management, social media, every aspect of their life that kind of becomes too chaotic and just needs a little bit of push in the right direction.
Excellent. And I see you're a certified professional organizer, so I can't wait to talk to you more about that. I may need to hire you. So, okay, so on to you, Robbi. Give us a little background about you. Folks have to be familiar with you, but in case you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Robbi Hess is, let's hear about you.
Let's see. I am Robbi Hess. I'm the BlogPaws Blog Manager, and I also run my own business called All Words Matter. I came to getting organized in a very bad way. I was diagnosed with cancer. I decided to stop working 16 hours a day after that so that my family would actually know what my face looked like. So I decided to start truly doing the cliche of working smarter, not harder. Now I work 8-hour days, and I truly get more done than I used to. So when Carol gets into the questions, I'll share how I do that.
That's excellent. I'm so looking forward to hearing from that, and that's really admirable and brave that you're putting yourself out there and you're letting folks know, because it shouldn't have to come to something like that to help you get organized. But in your case, you're saying that's what actually happened, right, Robbi?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're both speaking at BlogPaws, which is happening as of, if you're listening right now, it's 56 days. So not to put any panic on, but you're both speaking there. Can you start out, Robbi, since you're on camera, tell me what you'll be talking about and how folks can connect with you there?
I will be talking, let me go look at the program again.
No, that's...
I am talking about blogging from A to Z, hints, tips, and tools.
Okay.
So, and I truly am coming up with a list of 26 things from A to Z. It will be anything from time management to where to get ideas to the beauty of editorial calendars. And anybody that reads any of the posts I write for BlogPaws know that I am a broken record when it comes to needing an editorial calendar. So like I say, it's going to be at least 26 tips and tools. And when we're doing the 10-minute things, hopefully the people that sit down with me will have an idea of what they're really struggling with, and we can kind of hone in on that, and they'll walk away with things that they can use and actionable items. And
excellent.
That is going to be on Saturday from, I think, 3 to 4:30.
Right. So you're part of the one-on-one sessions.
Yep.
Okay, great. And Bonnie, tell me about what you're speaking about at BlogPaws.
I will be presenting on time management and how to determine what actions you should take today to meet your long-term goals. And I will be presenting on May 30th, which is the Saturday, at 11 a.m. to 12:15 in the afternoon.
Great. So we're laughing, and it's something we all, because we admit to it, I do, that if there's not a day that goes by that I'm saying to myself, I don't have enough time. Robbi's famous quote, which has been embedded in my brain, is "conquer the overwhelm." And as I'm typing at 12:15 a.m., I'm still trying to get caught up. So what do you say to people who say, I don't have enough time to get it all done? It's generally irresponsibilities. We all want to be on social media and get our blog posts done and have a family and just get everything going. So Robbi, why don't you start out, and what's a good response to I cannot get it all done, people that feel overwhelmed?
I think when you can't get it all done, it's because, first of all, you've taken on too many responsibilities. But one of the things that I tell everybody when they say that they're so overwhelmed is, and it kind of scares them, don't check your email first thing in the morning. I don't check my email. I don't even look at my phone until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I've told my clients that don't expect a response from me until 10 o'clock in the morning. If there is a crisis, you can text me. I've been doing this for a year. There's been one crisis.
Wow. And how do
So
you find that's been helpful? How has that been helpful for you to not check in until 10 a.m. with mail? I know you're up with the rooster, but how does that help you?
Mainly because when I check email, it puts me into a reactive mode, and I start to feel really stressed with, oh my gosh, I've got to get everything done right now that everybody's emailing me about. So, and I also know that I am so productive first thing in the morning. So I start work at about 5:30 or 6.
Okay.
And I work through till about 8 o'clock, then I take a walk. And I never go to my office without first having my to-do list. So
Okay.
every day, this notebook is my to-do list. I write it the day before I leave the office, or I write it when I leave the office, so when I sit down first thing in the morning, I know what to work on. And I work on all my writing projects first because I am so fresh in the beginning of the day. By about 3 o'clock, I can barely string together 2 words, so that's when I do like the mundane organizing tasks that I need to get done.
So to recap then, it's know your limits, have a list of some sort. I'm glad to see you hold up a notebook because a lot of us are using spiral-bound notebooks or pieces of paper. And you're saying to make sure you're getting ahead of yourself by not stressing and putting extra pressure on yourself first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to volley over to you, Bonnie, with the same question. I don't have enough time to get it all done. Any particular tips, tricks, or things you say to people when they say that?
Well, I think one of the most important things is knowing what your long-term goals are. So if you're trying to increase blog traffic or if you're trying to gain another job, what activities are going to help you get to that point? So it's really all about working every day on those activities first. So, for example, if you want to find an external job outside your home, sitting on Facebook or other social media isn't going to help that. So don't prioritize that task first. Prioritize the tasks that are going to make the biggest impression and difference in your long-term goals in life first thing in the morning.
Okay, so you're recommending first thing in the morning. What about folks who they have for a lot of bloggers listening to this, they have a full-time job and they can't necessarily get to that first thing in the morning, so they're getting home from their all-day job and now it's time for me to conquer my social media, my blog, and my second job. What advice would you give them if they can't get to something first thing in the morning?
Well, when I say first thing in the morning, I mean first thing when you walk into that office. Whenever you're starting that job, you want to do the things that are going to make the most difference first. And just like Robbi said, really know the times that you work best. Are you a morning person? Are you an afternoon person? Are you a night person? And do the things that require the most mental power during that time. So just like Robbi, I am no good mid-afternoon. So sometimes I'll take a break from my work in the office and go fold a load of laundry. Or some days I'll even have to take a nap, but then I can come back to the office refreshed and start back on those projects that I've already identified are the most important to do first.
So you would say to have realistic limits and expectations?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's really a good tip. So what do you feel, while I have you on camera, is the biggest mistake people do make when it comes to organizing, time management, and goal setting?
I think like Robbi said, one of the biggest mistakes is that people just take on too much, and instead of focusing on what their strengths are and focusing on what's really important to them, they're really just trying to do it all, and then you're just going to be stretched so thin that nothing is going to be done well. And you'll find that if you give up a few things that just aren't as important to you and that you don't enjoy as much, your time and energy is going to be freed up to really do the things that need to get done and do the things you want to do. And that may be going for a walk. That may be, time training your dog. But all those things that you find time to do will then help you going forward and save you time down the road.
So, Robbi, based on what Bonnie said, have you ever used a timer for any of your tasks, or do you recommend that to clients? Woohoo!
This little owl timer is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, and I'm not going to name what these tasks are, but everybody has tasks on their daily to-do list that they do not want to do. They dread it. You put it off, and honestly, the longer you put it off, the more it weighs on your mind and gets to be even more of a mountain that you have to climb. So what I do is when there's stuff that I have to do that I don't like to do, I will set the timer for 15 minutes because I can do anything for 15 minutes and survive it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the timer, first of all, because he's adorable. Second of all, because I can hear it clicking, but I don't have to sit there and watch the clock. I used to use my phone with the timer, and I'd sit it over on the side of my desk, but then I would spend so much time watching it count down because I wanted to be done with those darn 15 minutes. So with the timer, I can hear it clicking. I know it's going to go off, and I do that task for, like I say, 15 minutes. So I like that. I do like to use Evernote, and mainly because I come up with brilliant ideas when I'm not by something that I can write. I can click into my Evernote, click the microphone, and just record myself a note with whatever idea that I have. So I kind of do that when I think that I may have forgotten to do a task earlier in the day and I didn't want to forget that. I don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, I didn't do X, Y, Z. So if I have it in a note somewhere for myself, then I know I won't forget it, especially when I've got a brain that's like Swiss cheese sometimes.
Right, right. And we all have those moments. And that I'll play devil's advocate with you both then. There are folks who will say, but my client needs this. I have to get this post up. I have to return social media comments. Facebook needs me. And I have to get all this stuff done today. And I appreciate your help, but I don't even know how I would manage that. Bonnie, how would you respond to that?
I hear that a lot from clients. I absolutely positively can't do it all. And that's true. We don't have enough time in our days. And I think one of the keys is understanding how long each task takes. So, for example, returning an email or responding to Facebook messages. Obviously, there's going to be a little variation, but it's understanding how long does that generally take you. So that's where Robbi's timer comes in. Find out how long each one of those tasks takes you on average, and then you can better schedule the day and understand, is it actually possible to do it all? Mm-hmm. So I have clients who say, I'm going to go to the grocery store. It takes me 20 minutes. And then they'll time it and realize it takes them an hour. Mm-hmm. So once you add up all of those times and keeping a time journal for a few days to a week, you really understand that you're setting yourself up for failure, and some of those things just have to go.
That's really good advice. With doing those tasks themselves, I'm going to throw this one back to Robbi and then swing back to you, Bonnie. Tom is asking, how important is it to have a dedicated workspace or an office? And keep in mind, a lot of folks aren't working, telecommute, working from home. I see all four of us actually here have a home office, and mine's dedicated to. I mean, I could write a whole session on that. Why you need your own private space. I've even trained the dog to know that when the door is closed, not to bother me. So he's either in here, and or he's not. Watch, he'll start barking at the mailman. But Robbi, how do you respond to that? Do you think a person should have a dedicated area, even if it's their kitchen table and they're short on space? What do you say to folks like that for a workspace at home?
Until my son moved out about a year ago, I did not have a dedicated office. This is his old bedroom that I've turned into my office. I actually used to have a desk in the corner of my bedroom. And for a while, in the beginning, it was a small folding table. Then it progressed to my roll-top desk that I've got now. But I really think that you need the dedicated space just because it puts you in the mindset of, when I'm sitting in this area, then I know that I have to get to work. I know for me, I can't, if I take my computer and sit in front of the television or in the recliner, I'm not going to be actually working because the TV's going to be on, everybody's going to be talking, and I'm not going to have the concentration. So even if you have to pack your laptop and your notebooks and everything into a bag and move them at the end of every day, or when you have to make dinner and everybody's going to be at the kitchen table, I still think just having the idea that, this corner of the kitchen table or this corner of the bedroom is my office for X number of hours. I just think that helps just put you in the mindset of, this is now work time.
That's absolutely true. I know just even I'll interject this for myself. When I first started to work telecommute 12 or 13 years ago, which makes me 12 at the time,
Nice.
trying, I would wear my pajamas. And I thought, so what? No one sees me. That was the worst thing I could have done because it really is a mental game you play with yourself. I was lax and I thought, no, and I don't know, I could sleep 15 more minutes or, and then when you're overwhelmed, it's noon and I look at my to-do list, something about getting into a more professional, I'm in sweats, but still I'm not in my pajamas. So Kim Gauthier is making a great statement, and I want to go back to Bonnie on this one. She uses a Google Calendar to prioritize her day, and she also has a long commute to work, 50 minutes a day, so she's working with uninterrupted time, and I don't know how she does it on the train because I've read her stories of being on the train with some of these people, but 50 minutes she gets with her commute in the morning to and from work. So do you recommend something like that, and how would you recommend people prioritize their day? Are there apps, Bonnie?
Just like Robbi, I absolutely love Evernote. But my big thing for prioritizing is pick what's important to you. So I like to do the toughest thing on my list first. The thing I've been dreading, the thing I don't want to do. Is it a phone call? Is it a story I have to write? I like to get that off the list, and I feel great. But if you're in sales, maybe you want to make your cold calls first. Do the thing that's going to make you money first. So it's really determining what's important to you and then getting that knocked off. And, as Robbi said, you're going to feel awesome once that's done, and once you're kind of, you can do anything for 15 minutes. And things like that never take as long as you think they're going to take. We procrastinate and put them off longer than we actually take to do them.
Right. Right. So Yvonne is saying she needs help keeping her desk organized because it's a disaster area. So I don't know. Maybe she needs to get that Edgar Allan Poe photo moving and have him help her clean off her desk. But Robbi, you mentioned Evernote. Could you talk about what that is for people who don't know? Rachel Shepard's one of our bloggers, and she uses it and loves it.
Okay. We can talk about Yvonne's messy desk too after,
yes,
because you and I have seen it.
We have.
Evernote is an app that goes, I believe it's across all phone platforms, whether it's an Android or iPhone. I think even the Windows phones have it. If you make a note in Evernote, whether it's a written note or an audio that you've recorded, it will, oh my goodness. You can access wow. You can access it on whatever device you use, whether it's your phone, your computer. If you're out somewhere and you take a photo, you can put it in the Evernote program. You can jot notes. It's great for keeping track of receipts, which is good for business owners because I know that they're easy to get lost in the bottom of your purse. Take a picture of it, put it into a file folder on your computer. I believe there is a free Evernote app and there is a premium Evernote app. I started out with free and then realized how robust it was, and that's what I use now. And I like it because even if I'm not home and I, for some reason, would not have my phone, I could log onto your computer on my Evernote app and gain access to my stuff. So,
and what are you using? What do you use, Bonnie? Do you have any apps or particular tools that could help organize oneself better?
I actually also use Evernote, and one of the things I love about it is that I can make a list and then send it to somebody else. So if I'm working with a client on different ideas, I can just jot a few notes down and then send it to them, and it goes right into their Evernote, so that then they can keep the list. So it's a great way to share lists and share ideas as well.
Oh, great, great, great. I'm actually going to have to get that because I'm not going to show you what my desk looks like. And I have sticky notes. I have a board, and I thought a board would organize me, but then that board is full of sticky notes. What advice can you give me? Because I know I'm not alone in this. I jot something down, I look up at 5 o'clock, and I have 17 stickies.
I absolutely love a spiral-bound notebook. I use the same thing, and I write everything down. And I have different sheets in here. Things I need to do today, ideas, and I have it divided up into different sections. But everything goes into this one notebook, and then I know I have to go through here. So granted, I may have 17 things written down in here, but they're all in one spot, and I can easily purge it. And I can grab it and go, versus you can't easily grab all those sticky notes and take them with you.
Absolutely. So, see, this is the thing that I'm getting out of hearing both of you. At the conference itself, there are all these fantastic social media and grow your blog and technical sessions. What are we all talking about is how unorganized and behind and lack of having everything in focus. So going to your sessions is probably one of the best things a person can do if they're attending the BlogPaws conference, because what good is any of that if you don't know how to manage and organize it? I think you both would agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm coming to Robbi, you're doing a table topic at BlogPaws, and it's one-on-one. Folks can sit down and pick your fabulous brain for 10 minutes. So what do you hope they would learn in sitting down and talking to you?
That's kind of hard to say, because since it's a blogging from A to Z, I don't know if they'll be wanting to talk about where to get ideas, how to do an editorial calendar, and I will be giving editorial calendar templates to everybody that comes, and
Nice.
then I will want to see proof that you're using it.
Okay. Are you going to bring the owl clock? Are you bringing the owl clock? I'm sure people want to know.
I actually do. When I did a session at Whippin last year on conquering the overwhelm, and I gave everybody that attended their own little timer.
Oh my goodness! I might have to sit and talk with you just for the swag.
They're adorable. Yeah.
My word.
So, I guess, like I say, mine is kind of a broad thing with the blog, the blogging from A to Z. So it could be anything from ideas, how to get started, how to find the time to do everything, how to get your social media done. And we had talked earlier in the call about getting stuff done. Mm-hmm. What I try to do for my clients is, because I am not going to be, and I don't get on Facebook first thing in the morning either, I try to do anything that allows me to schedule. I use a scheduler, whether it's Hootsuite or TweetDeck. I love the scheduling thing in Facebook, because before the day ends today, and that's one of those tasks that doesn't really require a lot of deep thought, I will schedule a lot of Facebook posts to go live in the next few days, just because, and I know I don't have to worry about it first thing in the morning. So anything that comes with a schedule is something that I love.
Right, right. So Rachel and Rachel Shepard and Yvonne are actually in the background here talking about having TV or music in the background. Bonnie, do you recommend that to your clients when they're trying to get things done? Does it matter?
It really depends on you personally. I actually love to have the TV on in the background. It's something that, just kind of keeps my brain moving, keeps it, feeling like there's other people in the room, and, I enjoy the stimulation. However, a lot of people can't focus, and they'll end up watching the TV and not doing the task at hand. So you really have to be true to yourself and understand your tendencies, and if you're going to dither off and watch that TV, don't put it on.
Right. Right. Robbi, are you that way? Do you find that the television bothers you? What do you say to clients who they think, well, maybe I should try putting it on? Do you encourage it, discourage it?
Like Bonnie said, it kind of depends on your personality. I personally cannot work where there's no noise. Okay. I mean, if I'm in a room for 2 seconds, I'm turning on a radio or the TV. I usually will put on shows that I don't care what's going on. I mean, I have a lot of stuff on the DVR. Do not watch that during the day, because I want to know what those shows are. Yeah. So I will have shows like, I don't even know whatever's on the Hallmark channel. That's usually what runs all day long in the background. Okay. I don't really pay attention. It's not something I'm invested in, but I can't work in silence.
I'm an Animal Planet girl.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Same thing. I don't care about it. I don't need to pay attention, but it's just going on.
But I think you really need to know yourself. If you know that you're going to get distracted regardless of what's on TV or the radio, then I would say work without it.
Yeah, I'm probably the square peg in the round hangout here, because noise drives me nuts. I start listening, and it's how I studied, and so I think it's really, then you're saying it's a matter of personal preference and what works or doesn't work for you. Okay, so what are you both, you talked about Animal Planet, good segue there, Bonnie. What are you both involved in from a pet perspective? So the pet bloggers and the pet social media enthusiasts listening, what are you doing pet-wise?
Well, personally, I'm working on doing some more leash training with my deaf dog. We adopted him about a year ago, so we're ready to go outside on the leash and start some running together.
Okay.
And professionally, our pet posts on our blog, which was strictly organizing to begin with, just are some of our most popular posts. So we're redesigning the blog a little bit so that you can access the pet posts a lot more easily. You should be able to search for those and view them via tab soon.
And what's your website? What's this blog you speak of?
It's thejoyfulorganizer.com and then /blog.
Okay, and tell me, I wanted to get back to you on this before I swing over to Robbi. What is a certified professional organizer?
Certified professional organizers are organizers that have been in business for at least 3 years, have at least 1,500 hours of working experience with clients, and we're held to a level of continuing education as well as passing an exam. So it really, when you're hiring an organizer, it really is kind of the qualifier that the individual who's certified has been trained to a specific level and really is the best and the brightest in their field.
Wow, that's fantastic. You are the first CPO I have ever met.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so Robbi, tell me about your pet projects. Let folks know where they can find you and what are you working on?
I am actually working on it. It will be available before the BlogPaws Conference. It's a book called Sit Stay Blog: Blogging Hints, Tips, and Tricks for the Pet Blogger.
That is so fun. I love that title.
So, me too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great title. And tell us about what's involved in that book. What do you hope folks will gain out of that?
It's full of a lot of different items. Anything from where to set up your website or blog, how to buy a domain name, what kind of niche you want to specialize in. There is information, believe it or not, on editorial calendars.
Surprise,
how to
surprise.
Get ideas. And kind of how to grow your following.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. That will be available while we're at BlogPaws and before BlogPaws. You can find me at my website, allwordsmatter.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have my pet page called My Diva's Dish.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who knows about Henrietta knows that she is the biggest diva on the planet.
Right.
And I want to touch 1 second on what Yvonne had written earlier. She had a message about her desk being a disaster area.
Yes.
When I spoke at the Whippin' Conference, that was a big topic of conversation. And what I told a lot of people there was, that's the thing you want to set your timer for 15 minutes. Pick out a stack in the corner, go through that stack, and start organizing it. You should only touch your papers once, either act on it, file it, or trash it.
Ooh,
don't put it into a pile to get back to it later because you won't.
Okay.
And really, if you've got that many papers, set up actual file folders. Oh, goodness, Carol. I think Bonnie and I are going to have to come to your house.
I need an intervention. I need an intervention.
Telling Robbi and I to see that.
I know.
Oh, it hurts my heart.
I'm bearing my soul to you, ladies. So, all right.
But I think that's a good way. Just start with 15 minutes, pick a stack, and just make a little bit of progress. Don't think you're going to do it all at once because chances are you didn't make that mess overnight. Did you, Carol?
No, ma'am. That's been sitting there since Christmas. That's been since Christmas. That's my get back to list. I think one of the things I do want to touch on with our last minute is just real tight. If you can give me like 10, 15 seconds each. Instead of hardcore paper, a lot of us just say, I'm going to get back to that email, and we put it in a folder somewhere. Tell us how not to do that, Robbi.
How to not put it in a folder?
Yeah, what should we do? Should we act on that email when we get it? What should we do?
Yes, I don't see any reason that an email would come in that you wouldn't act on it immediately. Even if you have to tell the person, I have to gather a few facts, I'll get back to that email, at least you've acted on it.
Okay.
If you put it into a folder, you're just going to see the little numbers keep racking up on that folder of things that you have to get back to, and it's just going to be, again, you're going to be overwhelmed with it. So I really think that you need to act on it right away or forward it on to somebody else, but don't let it sit there, and you really shouldn't touch it more than once.
Okay, and Bonnie, thoughts?
Again, do it now, do it now, do it now. You'll thank yourself later.
Okay, excellent. So we will have this in our YouTube channel. This will be a part of our social learning center at BlogPaws. We will have a blog post up so everyone knows how to contact you. But Bonnie and Robbi, thank you so much for taking the time. I can't wait to sit down with Robbi in person, with Bonnie for an intervention on my life. And my goal is at least by BlogPaws to find my desk. That's my goal, yeah.
We're going to ask for proof.
I am taking photos.
Yes, I would say take a photo of it now, then we want to see what it looks like. And we want to see the garbage cans around so you don't just shove it all up into it.
Oh, no, I will be honest. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to have a Bonnie and Robbi intervention here, so I think your services would be valuable to a lot of people because I'm not alone in this. You unorganized people out there, you better shout along with me. So all right. Well, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you in 56 days and counting.
Exciting.
Can't wait.
I know.
Bye.
Thanks, lady. Bye.